다른 쪽에 안수 다 네 란던도 추고 네 차외연도 숨주자니 대답을 그 추고 네 추주고 태라양 네 연대 숨주자니 대신에 다 동공에게 디 롱구기 연대 디 대답을 그 추구기 추주고 태에게 나외 참 살외 차 네 롱주족배고 게 텔라 tene ta suji ko se korba tene suji ko tela tene yende ki ti tane shege yins
so bu su ko ni jan de
re tesena re tene membe yende sumji sani sana de to membe yende sumji sani
This morning His Eminence had briefly talked about Dharmakaya, enlightened mind, or experience of enlightenment for one's own benefit, which is the experience of Dharmakaya, fulfilling the one aspect of one of the two-fold meanings. And the Dharmakaya aspect is characterized by or attributed with the 32 qualities of being clarified of. And right now, His Eminence will briefly talk about the attributes of the luminosity aspect of Dharmakaya, or form kayas, which include Sambhoga Kaya and Nirmana Kaya, which is essentially the 32 attributes of ripening.
대답 드네 텐데스 전에 수지고 드네 trawe 연대 면편 연대 숨주장이 这个有的是디 가능해서나 대답이 그 면편 연대 숨주장이 디다또 다 대어식백이 닝보 텔 때네 텔 때네 레데 예나양 마체백의 현둔도 수구스 잡아봐 심지어 현지 던주발라 수구세연도 대선자 되네 조 되네 연대의 칸에서나 천성 무슨 주자니 하고서와 천성 무슨 주자니 당 되네 대기 예라 배제성부 제주세야 다또 천성부기 예라라 배제 제주디 전에 대인도 또 천성부 순주자니 있을 때는 대 멤버연도 순주자니 레스 대 수고 연된 세고베 좀 센데 칸에서나 대법이 되네 연된 대 되네 또 단다티 되네 대월식의 닝보암 취주고 대 되네 낭차 되네 나오에게 차 망가발 때네 중앙인바 손자 되네 멤버연도 순주자니암 되네 수고 연도 숨주소니 있잖아요. 쓰게요레스 단도나 전성부 숨주소니다 배제성부 계주.
The 32 attributes of ripening is connected to the form kaya, the emanating body in that, the emanating form. The 32 attributes of ripening is same as the 32 major marks of enlightenment of the Buddhas. Again, we talk about the as Buddhas attributes of the Buddha, 32 major and 80 branch or minor marks of enlightenment, physical marks of enlightenment. And the reason that these marks of enlightenment are referred to as attributes of ripening is because they are no other than the expression of the complete unfolding of Buddha nature. And they are not happening outside of, it is not anything happening outside of the becoming full-blown, in that sense, of Buddha nature. And so in this way, ripening attribute.
This re this song tene tene theta wiki tene member ge yunde sumjutani chen sangbut tang peche dendu tene zawege 단다디 추주 구이가 능서들 때는 시작해요. 중고요. 그래서 얘나야 그 무엇 멤버 제바 가서 우리 연대한테 야 되네 개월 제백 주도마서나 가르스나 조디 아니 단단 가란주 단단 륜디게 하고송아 되네 짜다 롱다 태글레 된주 단단 마다베게 나 마다바지요. 여러분 대 되네 다발라 때네 대답하게 되네 수국이 연된티 되네 개고고요레스 하고송아 자롱 태글레
티 마다바티 다발라
단다 당가란주 단데네 갑데 마다버와 티 다발라 장네 자롱 태글레 텐줄 장네 되네 텔라 때네 되네 수국이 연디게 텐주 되네 개고고요레스.
In general, these 32 attributes of ripening or marks of enlightenment are the luminosity aspect of Dharmakaya in general and not separate from that. Yet, what affects the ripening of these attributes, what affects becoming endowed with these marks is through the practice, application of the method of purification of one's whole psychological outlook. And in terms of psychological outlook related to our physical, mental constitution. In that purifying of what is known as tsa, which is nadi, and long, prana, and tigle in Tibetan, which is bindu. The purified outlook, purification of all of these, experiencing or giving one the experience of the outlook of being adorned with these marks of enlightenment.
Bena Teres, the Indu, this one's Bena Kasheke, Betty, then Sanje Sayundu, Sanje Kutsenbeki, Yunde Sayundu, Jik Kasagore, that sense on Buttons down Yundu, Jik Shatale, Tangu Trubuyundune, Benata Sanjela, and Betty said Sensantenzuki, then it took Shayundu, Ninjo Ringbu Yebat and Ja Ringbu Yebat and Tenetagana Shinki, then he shoved that into that. 독시에게요라봐 대시에연도 대 배치 가서 그래 되네 샤타를 줍대베지게 된데 그 수업도 좀 지라 되네 산지게 천상다 연대 된조 직 잘주고 요래 디마레스 하고서가 산제게 천상의 연된 된도 조 강을 되는 연구요래서나 단다 시에는 신기 되는 류지 단다 넘버 멤버 류지 요래 넘버 멤버 류디가 자롱 태글에 텐조 다고라 때네 대답이 수고 연된 된도 어디 줄고 요래스 하고서가 베나 다타 베나 카시
Tila hakosan.
어나
Lula yue ge za da long.
다 단단하나 베나 루이드 자노 틀리 그라시르와 그러봐 데 마다베 내가 솔라 드네 제단게 자레 제단게 롱르 제단게 태글레 드네 디 드네 네도 뉴연도 텔 때네 자롱 태글 곰고야 좀 센데 다 롱송고야 다 태글 베나 독스네 다 tenzu ganga 제거야 좀 센티 베나 대 용수 다 토발라 때네 대다 토베가 값솔라 세미드랑 신게 넘버 다 용거요래 가네선 단능에 디시에 따때 고름 잡지래 동안 베나 르라야 셈라양 제단 그 셈지 르세야 지기 셈나 나세게 이와 니체게요 봐 대 단단 가나 셈당 셈 르세야지 니스체게요 간선 르셈든 잘돼요 봐 단단 대체자 대인도 류지 자론 태글레텔라 능고바 준세 잘고베 준세데 칸에서는 류셈틴 자와 임바 손자 대 탁버 장월 때네 텐수 용고요레스
Generally, when we hear of the different marks of the physical marks of enlightenment, or the physical marks of the Buddha, as it's mentioned when talk about that how as some of the marks are
베나 우이 주도 따로 명명받아 우이 주도 따로 명명받아 송전바 취지 통세안자보다 되는 다가나시 샵 차다 샵라 되는 콜로다다 된수 세상 다 쓰게요 봐 따로 명명바 올라 주도 우이 주도 따로 명명받아 되는 다른 명명에서 다가 탐을 베게 특전에 통주여 같은데 많이 받아. 근데 숭전바 취지 통다 된데서 여러 왔어.
And so the various physical marks are mentioned, such as having large ears or long tongue, or the marked with the natural crown, which is our ordinary eyes cannot perceive of it, or it's that too overwhelming to be able to have a glance of it, and or the throat mark with the symbol of the realization of speech and the conch and so forth, and the palms or the faces of the hand and the feet marked with certain auspicious marks or symbols. And when we talk of these different marks of enlightenment, generally we think of probably them in a very physical, material context. Just having that symbol, or having larger ears, or whatever, in itself is the mark of enlightenment. But how they are understood or recognized as a mark of enlightenment is, it is because there are expressions of the mind in relationship with the body having developed pure enlightened outlook. For instance, when we talk about mind in terms of mind alone, and mind in relationship with the body. There is a definite relationship between body and mind.
칸에서나 샘생에도 코란 진주 매버봐. 문에 샘생에는 데 매버 인도 샘 tartu nawa tang sem tartu nawa da sem lu tartu nawa sem thing the khande in nang thu yo res.
The mind itself is beyond being able to grasp, beyond being able to have a sort of hold on. And so we can view the mind as the mind, we can view the body as the mind, or mind in relationship to the body. And so because of mind's relationship to the body, then in the practice, in the advanced practice, working in our essence of the constituents of our body presently is no other than the such components or constituents as that of nadi, prana, and bindu, and so that when they become purified, in the purified level, unpurified level as we experience, physical, material, and at the purified level, then experience in, or the purified outlook level, experience as these different marks of enlightenment.
Tende sonza tende si indu tende jumsen tela tene pena tanda ngaran su number member ke lundi hako songa number member lundi la tende bati tongchun rabo ta chik lundi ni tende pena dukjan rabo chik samne ta khashi ge tik ta rangme jian rabo tende pena let sabu chi tende mangbu chigi yor ba tenzu sonza tende tenzu chi khase gore tagas chene 칸에서나 단단 안한 수기 르인데 코라 배나 줄을 샤타 잠지 많이 봐. 근데 데 코라라 다마다 니기 차지요래. 데 손자 배나 단다 샤타를 두바 잠지리 마다베 차레스. 얘나야 데 코란 기 배나 셈 코란 르디 다 니스메바 인도 안에 자롱 용수 타바 데 코란 디 배나 데어식베 닝부 코란 고도 찍바레스. 근데스 임바 손자 텔라 때네 배나 당안한소 파르드네 급소다 되네 시루 탐베리게게 랑신 인스잖아 륜디 코라라 되네 겨워 리게 가서래 시와도 추게 랑신 인스잖아 세야디 베나 응어수게 베티 사직 베나 나라 오늘 좀 유연이 된데스네 대바지 가야 말에 단다티 샘게 짤 망가봐 라테네 임바 손자 류티양 tene semge nangchale tene chungwa reyes. Te yindu tela tene yidam gyawe jingur re seko ya jumsende tanda te reyes. Te sonzang tela tene teta wik tsen sangbo da tenzul khora rangche su zo de yo reyes.
So when in relationship to our body has also, in that sense, two aspects. In an impure, confused outlook level, the physical, material body, as we experience, as we know of or think of, and then experience of our body, and from the purified outlook point of view. And which is another way of saying that because of the nature of our mind, the body is an appearance of our mind. And so, which this body that we have experienced because of the ripening of whatever conditions, karmic conditions that affected the ripening of this particular form, that we experience is also an appearance of our mind, and that appearance of our mind, whether we experience it from a distorted point of view, that appearance, or an enlightened point of view, depending on the kind of realization we have developed in connection with our body. So, again here, one particular point is, generally, we might think, if not negatively of our mind, but we may think very negatively of our body. And to think very negatively of our body is, from the point of view of the nature of our body, it is distortion, is distorted outlook.
semji kura semji nangcharan res. Ten tanda rangme seya neka malam na. Kusunga semji nangcha.
Our body is appearance of our mind, and in that sense our body is very important. Our body is precious, and to mistreat it, to harm it, is serious. And for instance, in the context of the Pardo teachings, we talk about how that our body is the mandala of the 100 deities of the Pardo. That is not saying that in our physical body, in different sort of pockets or places in our physical body, all these different deities are taking certain positions, and they're all there. But from an enlightened outlook point of view, we experience this of our body. And so it is a matter of how we perceive our body, from purified, enlightened outlook point of view, from confused outlook.
Tendesi indu te sonzang jumsen tela tene dorna tene tanda tatabuki tene charmingi yende chukchutsa shiseyaji yorba te sonzang tene bana sem korangi ngo tene rangshin tongba chugu tsal tel chugu gi rangshin telle tene tanda trawe yende sumchutsani tang tene sem korangi nangchay ki tsal shardebeki luyam sem jinabachi yorba tela tene tene bana te ta tanda te za long tegle tenzu yonsu ta debege ngol tene sharwege tene tanda 산성부 숨주자니라 소바게 tene 멤베 연데 숨주자니디 텐데 시전에 tene 자민기 연데 주주자시디 다 단다 ngaran 초 단대게 내가 내 코랑게 땡돌라 류다 셈니가 땡돌라 tene 창데 여버레스 조데 여레스.
So the 64 attributes or unsurpassable qualities, the attributes of the Buddha, 32 in connection with the nature of mind, Dharmakaya, and 32 in connection with appearance of mind, form. And so through form or through the vehicle in which the spontaneous activity of benefiting others manifests, these qualities, all of them, right now, with our mind and with our body, as far as a potential, is concerned, we are right now endowed with all of these. And
배나 단다 최선 뭐 숨지장인데 코란랑 단다 유해신 발지레스.
the 32 major marks of enlightenment, also they refer to, we already have them now. The potentials. And it's only a matter of having recognized, having experience of complete unfolding or not.
배나 류덴디 된도 산지가 콤바 토바레 세연드 되네 산지가 생산된도 암조된도 마 링루진베 로주다 되네 산지가 생산된도 rinbe 그 모르네 되네 라면에 레고야 된대 말레스.
So if you, for instance, attain Buddhahood within this lifetime, as you get closer to attaining Buddhahood, and it's not to say that your years are then going to become longer and longer. These are different marks of enlightenment, like embossed.
샤라그 톤에 마임바. 샤라그 톤에 숨 불고 발라서 뭐
It's not like out of your body they begin to come out, to protrude. It's not saying that.
되네 대조의 가능성이 열었으나 되네 단다 가난 속에 짜지요 봐. 짜디 그냥 보면 돼. 쭉 과 보면 돼. 되게 마음은 컨트롤 보지 마. 되네 대손자 좀세 될 때네 되네 짜디 닭바르장네 되네 닭바르장와디 고 되네
치지 그런 스테이트 시라면도가 대 섬드다기 지 베조나는 피 치러바 기타는 찍바 다리데도와 컨설레티 숨차 랍지어바 첸사우시도
인지게나 요만왜
찍다 랍다 거쳐라 면저들라요
저 technical 가능성이다.
나
나디세.
나이
하나?
섬드다기 대치든 빈두스 민두스
답해진디도 이제 대손자한테 신도 근데 좀센 텔라 때네 답변한 거랑 저 상하게 값술라 배나 다 나로 추루기 냠는 그 값술라 저 정시 짜다 롱다 태글라 때네 되네 배나 가서 오래 추 나로 추 추기 냠는 때네 되네 장자 로브르지 트마텐소 림지 장네 되네 대월식 비게 닝부도 온도 주르바 제네르바 되네 타르도기 되네 짜이거랑 신디 꼬타 롱거랑 신디 송다 태글랑 신디 투지 징골라 하코와 제네 되네 자론 태글라 내도 뉴스해야 돼 된다 된다스기 오레스
잘되네
고
징코
고이 징골 되네 롱라 되네 송기 징골 태글라 되네 투지 징골 되네 고송 투지랑 신디 징골 톤
So, through the practice of working with Tsa or the Nadi channels, not veins, right? And through working with the prana, or wind energy, yeah, and bindu,
태글레
no. In Tibetan known as tigle, bindu, in Sanskrit, and in English, do you know chachkas? No? Oh.
그래
Okay, so I hope you get some sense out of this. Because I already told His Eminence, I don't get it. I said, I have no bindu. Already. So, through, in the case of, for instance, the practice of the 6 practices of the 6 yogas of Naropa, where one is involved in the practice of purifying the these various energies or energy centers, psychic energy? No, that's a very wrong one. I think so. Okay, so purifying of the prana, nadi, and bindu. Then, through the purification of the nadi, fulfilling the mandala of the body, and then through the purification of the prana, fulfilling the mandala of the speech, and through the purification of the bindu, and that's fulfilling the mandala of mind. And so that's a purified experience of body, purified outlook or experience of body, speech, and mind, or establishing the mandala of body, speech, and mind.
this 지도 다 지단 게디 가서 그래 다자외게 십신 참아 된조 가능한 저 런준도지기 다 사문난 된다보다 된데 나라 하장게 다 세부터데 요레스 된조 갈리 롭전진 다탄다 다 가서 지단게 되네 굿다 수국이 연된티 저어데 간을 때는 용국이 요르스나 수국이 연된티 될 때는 수지 고스타야 돼 되네 배는 초진의 수지 고스야 돼 다 수기여백 폼스이요, 봐. 근데 초진에 디세고베 줌센 수고 세고베 줌센디 샤라레 주베 숙점질로 고고요 말 대답이 장론 틸리 용스 타고데 가인 바텔라 수고연데 세서 텔샤고요 레스.
So
데 컨데스전 다 고고요레스나. 근데 단단가란수 배나 틸리 용스 타고데 되미 미식 베 틸리 쳔보세 그래. 디당 근데 배나라스 니수메 바다. 하고송아. Demi mishikbe tiglis chambo.
Sana.
Tigli yonstawa.
Kan kasel tesana. Dame. La.
Re. This pena tigli. Jedang tigli situ ngaranzo tigli situ. Da bogo soya tigli serba. Ti yonstawa tila. Da ti semni korana tujaring yore. 샘 코나 틱레이트 용수 타고데 다가는 시자 롱 틱레 강가도 용수 타고데 텐데스게요.
you're laughing? If you were in my position, you wouldn't laugh. Okay. So, nature of mind, realization of nature of mind, 32 attributes. And then the extending of Buddha activities through form. And when we talk about form in the way of Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya, or form in terms of body, we are not talking specifically of a physical form, even a physical form, but form in the sense of an appearance of mind. So, in that sense, not necessarily having physical, material components, but appearance of mind. And so, if one has realized the nature of mind and has therefore these characteristics of attributes, then the appearance of mind would also therefore have these characteristics. these marks of enlightenment. So, as in extending Buddha activities, manifesting in form, marked with these, adorned or marked with these attributes or marks of enlightenment. And these physical marks, as we could say, because form related, therefore physical marks of enlightenment are the result of the purification, complete purification of the essence of the physical body and essence of the elements of the physical body, which are the essence of elements which are absolutely essential for the body, being that of the three, the Tsa, Long, Tigle, Nadi, Prana, and Bindu. And so,
Tela yang chichu chik yo res. Pena maanga ke chidang ke thoba chulu mangbu la pena zalung tigli gi nyamlen cheya ji yo bas. Pena zala thagwar jang sidu tani bet zati bet yama xiangya da bada jik tende ge dongwa. Di ge tone ge tende ge tone za ta chik do zalung tigli ta sig yo ma res. Khan sig yo res na semni gyawe nyugu ti korang ge rang xin ti pena 타르도게 자 롱틱레 용수 단단 내도 넘바티 그런 람르바 델라 때네 강국이 열었으나 되네 된수 탐제 단다 샘지 난처럼 신을 만대바 때또 투바텔 때네 되네 자 롱틱레 용수 다 쓰기 열어 마도 되네 가시게 지 가서 오래다 출루신다 열어봐 다 쓰도 되지 같이 있나야 다지 건져 고하지 열어봐 된대 말이에요.
So the experience of the purification, for instance, complete purification of the bindu is realization of the nature of mind. Experiencing bindu in the purified state is not separate from realization of the nature of mind, in that realizing the nature of appearance of mind is realizing the nature of mind. Through realizing the nature of mind, realizing the appearance of mind. And so working both ways. And which is to say, every appearance is viewed from the point of view of the appearance of the mind. And so in this way, there are mention of these same terms, such as Nadi, Prana, and Bindu, same terms in other spiritual schools, tradition. But the view and application in terms of practice, very different. And
pena chetan digi thakbar jang sen de ngone gi khura shata gi tube sa long tu chik ma jang ya chik sig yor bas chetan gi chulu shenda digi shata le tube be za tin zu shang ju ji da chik mang bu chi sig yor ba de da bu ma yin bang ran su pena semni te dan jewe gi za long te le
in other spiritual tradition, when they talk about purifying or clearing more, that having a sense of the nadis, pranas, whatever, blocked and obstructed and clearing away. They talk about clearing away, or they talk about purifying, then it is related with that they're viewing them as being material, being very physical, and that something physical and material is also obstructing them, is clogged, sort of, in that sense. And that you need to clear away these things. But from the Buddhist point of view, when we talk about prana, nadi, and bindu, it's very important it's not that it is not taken in the same way. Prana, nadi, and bindu, that which is connected with mind.
pena yishiki long yishiki za yishiki tigles chen sig yor es
And for instance, in the teachings, references made as to wisdom wisdom nadi, wisdom prana, wisdom bindu, which is, if it is simply we're talking about material things, then we couldn't talk in terms of wisdom.
야, 다 더고 들어봤어.
Okay, questions, please.
To the yondu.
And I was wondering if Rantong is also empty of those two, or is Rantong empty of something else? And the second question was, I'm not sure, you talked about Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. Once you mentioned Dharmakaya as just emptiness, luminosity, Sambhogakaya as potential, and Nirmanakaya as actual appearance, further appearance or activity. And I'm wondering if that's the correct understanding of it.
There's common look.
Titsavek Teres, Pena Ranton Ke Tawala, Pena Tamu Yondup San Sigmares. Hakosonga, Yondup Koranzan Kelingamares. The Indu Ranton Ke Pena Tatanang Pena Shandon Ke Pena Yondup Tela, Tene Kunda da Shenwan Ki Tongbati, Segeorbas. This one's a Ranton Ki Taweke Pena 용도 대단히 텐데스전 되고 말이에요.
Tini 동주 tini 딱
다 동주티 다 다게 동어를 쓰는 되게 요래. 是吧? 다 대식니 배나 조 현동 그 줍셔도 가능성은 대월식의 닝부티 되네 싸워기 차대 야 줍용 거요. 봐. 동배산에 찍버래. 하고 송아 이나양 서웨이 차대야 되네 대신 닝보다 용줍 쓰디 되네 대신 닝보라 연된 코라란 치스 유스야 줍용 거요. 봐. 是吧? 되네 랑동게 되게 통해서 반단에 설치된 거요. 말 봐. 조티 코라 랑시 마주베게 차례때 마주바데 주단 찍버렸어.
Yes, His Eminence would put it this way. In the Rangtung view, from a Rangtung point of view, one would not recognize Yongdrup. We talk about the Yongdrup, that the fullness of Buddha nature. And the Buddha nature in itself or by itself is complete, fullness. And that it doesn't need to be made better or made more complete. So
제가 조 동사들에서 너나
would not recognize the fullness aspect, only emphasize on the emptiness. And emptiness is pretty much in the same way. Emptiness of the two Kunda and Shema, pretty much the same. But in doing so, not recognizing the fullness.
영줍대.
예, 맞습니다.
아니 현동게 다 싸워디. 영줍 차대 된 거요. 그래서 대 찍대지시티 동바텔을 주고 정신 동바텔을 주고 되네 동바티 코란기 잘 망가바티 차티 코란을 롱고 되네 나소스 토와도 주고 망가바텔레 레 남바 나소스 토와도 주고
동바티
잉 동바티 주고
나서
되네 잘 남바 망가바티 롱고 아나 잘 나소스 토와도 주고 쓰게요. 봐.
자서 넘바텔레 쳐와 망가볼 때는
넘버 망가바 삼지요라 와다 잉 동바티 코란티 다틀 베나티 쿠숨디 야체인데 독스 체게요라 마도 근데 쿠숨디 직샤도 조고 있어요. 봐. 추구를 농구 두고 간거 조고요. 봐. 대손자 야체 다 이해는 야체인데 근데 인코랑 랑시 마주바 동배차들 최고 세게요래 근데 동배차 가인바 되게 넘버 망가 점지요라 텔로 롱고 근데 넘버 망가바 점 텔로 때네 짠나소스 좋아도 주고 스전 되셔요레스 거기 다시 세야 텔라 추고 텔라 넘버 망가바 텔다 닝찰 샤샤게도 됐어요
And the second one, just for clarification,
당벽가서 꼭 숨도 찍혀도 좋고요. 그래서 제단계.
firstly, when you experience realization, it is the realization of inseparability of the three kayas. And so, three kayas are inseparable. Yet, in manifesting enlightened activities, in appearance, therefore, the three kayas, because of Buddha activity, seem to can be distinguished separately, in that that which is by nature emptiness is Dharmakaya. And whatever is emptiness, or whatever pervades emptiness, the nature of everything being emptiness, therefore everything is pervaded by emptiness. Whatever is pervaded by emptiness, there is unobstructed appearance.
넘버 망가 점들 롱고.
So just simply, just the fact of unobstructed appearance, it's not talking about appearance happening. And that nature of emptiness allows unobstructed appearance. So that unobstructed appearance aspect is Sambhogakaya referred to. And because of limitless possibility of unobstructed appearances, then varieties of appearances arising happening. This arising of varieties of appearances happening
인동바텔라 추고 넘버 사와텔라 롱고도 주고스니 시작이요. 봐스. 된소 도미온데. 사와라 난세 체연데 되네.
Then we talk about the two kayas. Two kayas, which is formless kaya, Dharmakaya, and form kaya, which is Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya both. Now when we talk, in that context, when we talk about emptiness in connection with Dharmakaya, and the luminosity, both Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya.
This can ke sem Quran thamu ngoyen zina khandel rale gres.
It depends on what you recognize mind is.
I don't understand what form is. I understand the idea, like a house or something we talk about is not a name we give to a bunch of components or whatever molecules, which is another name for I don't know what it is, kind of stuff. Concrete form, something. But I don't understand why all those things, it appears to me to have some kind of common. Like, there's like air and all these things seem to support some kind of life, and I don't think like I had any responsibility for it.
Kansa.
나 독스체도 다 롱의 정화도 뭔고 요러봐나 독스체도 되네 그런 정문에 직 차트베게 뉘바다 봐 되네 직파 가이나 입 되네 드베게 뉘바다 근데 요타가 보통 무스 대인도 딱히 탄체 코그 생그란시는 코 겐데면서 정말 퀄케팅 서로다 코그 셈이 케이트는 나지 Tene konon ger gitan nubate met ngi. Chechida. Long tan tene ta ying tan tene tene khanda khaina tene yib ta khaina drobong ko ba. Chedang ta khaso re tene thangma simke hi resudu
테레스
tadi
캐랑게서 단다 베나 중에 단다 캐랑스 또 셈라라 레그르 셈군즈나라 레그르스야 좀 생각하랬으나 데네 캐랑게 셈싱에든 베나 딩들 여버지 차샤니 치드 셈을 베스는데 전에 니스 셰백 셈데 말레스 자외 그 셈세야 데 콘데 탐제를 마켜봐 매봐 베나 셈 코랑그랑 신 동바 넘버 망가 싸워지 여러봐 디송자 디동설 되게 마켜봐 매버지 탐제 셈지 나와를 세고야 좀 센데 테레스 탐제 셈지 나와를 세고야 돼 대답이 싸워다 동바 되게 탐제게 콘데 탐제를 마켜봐 요 말레스 뭐보이나리 뭐메이나 탐제를 되게 마켜봐 매봐 될 때네 세게요레스 하고서와 대인도 베나 체인 중앙의 누바다 코난서 요래 가르스나 넘버 망가발 때네 들 누바 연구요레스 얘나양 베나 캐나 독스테다 베나 오네게 셈지 내로디 양타버 동해지게 가사지게 이나 되는 중앙 탐제게 누바도 줄투그로 베스 단데 줄투그레스 줄스 제는 거스 줄바 말이데 가르스나 셈 코란 중앙 체인 중앙 난그 셈순도 상황 랑그 셈도 이해매진 생해지게 베나 찌기요레스 제가 체인 중앙 탐제 난그 셈순 누구요레스 하고서와 될 때네 중에게 디 용투기요레스
Yes, the reason His Eminence was asking you the question, it depends on what you recognize mind is, and recognizes as your mind. So, if you have this notion, which is very possible, is if you have this notion, you have your mind somewhere here inside, and then now you are looking at
가사
this object, and so your mind is saying, is this my mind? It's not your mind. You know, obviously, the mind is saying, is this my mind? So that's not your mind. But when we're talking about mind, we're not talking about something that is somewhere inside of you.
다가나시 칠라마이바 아니 나마이바 치야마이바
And we are not talking about something that is outside there. Because of emptiness, nature of mind is beyond being in somewhere here or out somewhere there, outside of something. Again, then, if it is outside somewhere there, then it would be from there, this one, looking at this one. And from inside here is looking at that. Because of emptiness, nature of mind, there's nothing that the nature of mind does not pervade. So it has to do with having proper view, understanding of how mind is like. And if you understand nature of mind emptiness, as we have talked about, then you would have some sense of how that nature of emptiness could pervade everything. And because the nature of mind pervades everything, everything is no other than appearances of mind. Then everything no other than appearances of mind. And then as far as activities of elements, motions and activities of elements, yes, they take place. And that is also the reason, because the nature of all things emptiness. Because of nature of all things emptiness, then arising of appearance is at all possible.
코랑기 땡돌라 차네요레스 칙
And it is in the very nature of things. Their nature being emptiness, therefore appearance. Appearance is also not separate from their nature. And but in the case of someone who is realized, elements can be changed too.
낭심 니스메바 또 통해지게.
When one realizes that appearance and one's mind is inseparable, you can change appearance too. Appearance is no more a fixed, real thing. Changing appearance does not strictly mean changing things around, seeing, experiencing things from the point of view of the nature of mind, from the point of view of the appearance not being separate from the nature of mind. And so you could be playing with elements in that sense. So changing elements again, changing the elements, and the one element becoming another, or combination of them becoming something else, and bringing change, that is not a change in the context of saying some formula, whatever, some mantras or whatever it is, and through certain magical tricks, changing. Not that kind of changing, so that in your eye making it look like changing, in the sense having the wisdom and insight into the nature of things, and so nothing is seen as being separate from the nature of one's mind, and therefore everything is also the way one's mind, seeing the nature of one's mind, everything is at the disposal of that mind.
그래서 텐데스 인도 난 중앙에 텐데스 줄토고요.
저는 되는 거 좀 신기해 주소.
다 테드 람말람인도. 야. Yes. 됐어도 다 간다고. 선점
연기하지 손은 짜는 거 맞네.
Would you like to say that again, please?
랑리 다랑산 이념돌 잡을 당벌라.
셰바랑리랑서. Then kerang samsam bachigla maswa. Right. Tere, 다 sem rangri rangsal seyati tang tanda ti kong seyati tanda zo kunda shenwa
시 당보 랑릭 스도양 직체바 양 현라 람네 양 살슬람네 릭티스고바 마도 직드 랑릭 랑살스도야 니 직리야스고 말아
다 kunyi 페이지 tanda 찍본다고 봐.
단다도 직버바나 티
다 간지 그랑 쳐봐줘요 봐. 셰버랑리 랑서 세야티 셰버랑리 랑서 세야티 당 단다티 티서바 단다티 꾸숨
나서
꾸숨티니 간데스는 저요 레스요 봐. 르베 단다티 봐.
아니야 티
그다음에 군다 시와 용도 숨데.
나서
셰버랑리 랑설티 드네 샘 코랑 랑리 랑설 때네 근데 샘 코랑 랑 릭바테 드네 추주고 내일 또 그래 하고서 대송자 드네 간 릭바테 샘 코랑 랑어 릭바테 추고래 아니 디 배나 오동바 릭바테 드네 배나 오동 신도 드네 number rik charge yor ba thela longu sigre na longu am truku bana ngo tong ba thi bana ngo tong shindu tene number kase ore rik charge yor ba o thela longu dang truku sigre es ha ko songa tene kunda shengwa yongju sum thi tanda ti 간들 잡는 세로고 다 랑리 랑살은 저와 thi 베나다 저래 베나 군타단 신원티 출발을 봐 용주티 베나 샘코란 랑경오 릭차드 데코란 용주를 봐 대세단 군타단 신원티 데러슈게 코란 졸주고요 봐 군타 신원 레 좋았을 때 있어요 그래서
Which one should I translate? Question or the answer?
answer
So, self-seeing or self-awareness, self-illuminating, saying the same. The terms that Michelle's using, asking questions with was, what is the relationship between the three kayas to what is referred to as either self-seeing, which is very simple, and or self-illuminating, which is another way of saying, and self-awareness or self-seeing, if there is experience of self-seeing, which means the mind, in a way of saying, without words, with the mind experiencing the nature of mind is self-seeing. The mind experiencing the nature of mind is having the experience of the nature of mind, or seeing the nature of mind, in that sense, that is Dharmakaya. The seeing the nature of mind. The mind sees the nature of mind.
this do kanesana sem korang rango thon sedu bena sem korang rangshi matuba tene tele los kyoji thoya khaya mebaso tel tene chuguro yes.
So, if you are seeing the essence of mind, if you're seeing the nature of mind, then the nature of mind is not separate from, there is nothing apart from emptiness, being emptiness, nature of mind, emptiness, nature of mind being dharmakaya. Outside of that, there is no nature of mind or no essence of mind. So seeing, self-seeing is seeing the nature of mind, which is dharmakaya. And so, this experience of seeing or experience of Dharmakaya is unobstructed. And there is the awareness, self-awareness happening, that is, or the
라르비 차데.
self-seeing aspect of it, the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya. Experience of
대야원의 청마소미지.
베나 릭베기 차지요, 봐. 라 릭베기 차데.
맞아.
하고송아. 베나 셈 코랑게 오디 릭스드 릭베기 차 가이 바지 베나 릭바티 다 오런 시동바 릭바티 추구 이나야 되네 오런 시동바 인신도라 되네 릭바기 차지요, 봐. 텔라 롱구스잖아. 매 롱구스네 수쿠스는 되게도.
so
So doing it talks love and
seeing emptiness in nature is self-seeing. Seeing emptiness nature of mind is self-seeing. And yet, the seeing or awareness continuing, that is the form kaya. And so, in that way, in terms of connection between three kayas and self-seeing or self-existing awareness, with regards to the relationship between the self-seeing and the three terms Eminence talked about, Kundak, Shewan, and Yongdrup, and if there is experience,
ran rik chadu te kunda xiang til ran xing chor char bas.
then 랑 리차도 되네 용용 먼저 겨.
용좀 건도 교르 te kunda xiang ka dong go min was.
if there is the experience of Yongdrup, experience of fullness of Buddha nature, or experience of self-seeing, which is same as experience of Yongdrup, complete fullness, then that in itself express self-liberation from Kunda and Shenwan. So it's there is no particular relationship in that sense, but the experience of self-seeing is same as experience of the fullness.
Not just intellectualized seeing things as they are, but actual experience of seeing things as they are was the ground. And then today you said that the fruition had two aspects. One was the wisdom of seeing the undistorted nature of things, and the other was the discriminating wisdom. So I have two questions. My first question is, how does the ground of seeing things as they are differ from the fruition of seeing the undistorted nature of things? And my second question is, I didn't understand how the discriminating wisdom differed from the wisdom that sees the undistorted nature of things.
This is the 네 당부도 거서. 그 제마드 다른 쇼게 시에부터 간다스라고.
지대 진이 좀 여기 시스요. 봐. 지대더니 간서로 집다와 대다 하고 선생님. 진이어서 된다. 강인 받듯 좀 무슨 말이야?
진이 받지 마.
디데다 근데 집다와 드니 첸드요나 이 디그런 쇼크드니 찍대.
진이 받.
청아야. 되게 찍 발로스. babko ba kandu inasyo chik
chitawa kemba sayati tenderes kiranga labati na shiri chitawa kemba sedu chitawa kemba shugudi chinyebi kemba di inji minji yungyo res kanresana chitawa kemba ti
chinye ba sudu kama jidang kare mo
또 진예버스나 탐제 드네 쳇다와스도 쳐 탐제가 내로 라시 마주바 동반이 캠버들라 쳇다와 캠버스 여러분 진예버 캠버스도 드네 탐제 만레바 드네 동바데 만레바 싸웠습니다 동바지 가야 매버지 마임바 나바나소버 캠버들라 진예버 캠버스가 여래 대손자인도 드네 테레스 베나 단다 차이드 챔비오기 단다 캐랑 그 라바나신기 드네 코란 랑바블샤 Bana chö thamje ke ne lo khai ba khurang giting dunya bar rangbab le syak ba thi re se ya thi tanda ngaran so khan re se na bana tanda nyamba la khasang re khurang ga ran shin nyamba sha se ge gobe junsen de khan tanda ngaran so churbe ge tokbal te ne ani nyamba sha ma sha sing ji yor bas ani bana sanjen ro bu ji bana chetawa de chin yin be yi shing on de chur chadu tene nyambar shaada masha seya rangbabla shaa masha ke koran dile deta ba sonza te koran jinjim kasor mixe
tawa tala sarwa ko tawa tala ya tani kan imbati tani nyongma chikre son sri da shid tani drago te danya chawaj kams
te chata kan imbati nyongwa ti kan imbati sedu ti kan imbati sedu shenda koran ngobo ti koran ran kan imbati sedu marwa koran la sadon sungdu jubbe kan imbati sedu marwa
with regard to the twofold knowledge of the wisdom of the Buddha. In Tibetan terms, the first one is Chittawa. Chittawa means things as they are. And so, you having insight into...
things this say and but number ti nanshin sigyo mata koran ne lut kai
and which is whatever is the nature of things point of view, not just appearance of things. And so having the wisdom to see into the nature of things as they are, so which is the nature of anything, everything is emptiness. So having the wisdom to see, have the insight into that nature of thing. And it is true, it is correct to say as you, if you have developed that wisdom, then you have developed the other wisdom too, discerning, discriminating wisdom. But the reason for saying it separately is also important in that having the wisdom to see into the nature of things, so nature of all things is emptiness. And the second is a discriminating wisdom.
Tati tanda rigbat sigyo res tanda shede rigbati chat sigyo chenye be kembas du sheda manda
which is in connection with self awareness. We talk about self-seeing. It's in connection with that. In that, because of nature of everything, you see the nature of everything as emptiness, and therefore, like you see everything sort of blank. No, you see everything. Not only seeing into the nature of things, but distinctly, and as well as their nature. So you're sort of like not, because everything, the nature of everything is same, therefore you don't see it all as same too. You understand?
됐습니다. 당보디
Mixed up.
똥바래. 당보디 똥바래. 니바데 싸워래. 싸워 차대.
So then another way of saying is the twofold knowledge of wisdom is, the first one is emptiness, and the second one is luminosity. The wisdom of emptiness and the wisdom of luminosity.
전에 자기 좀 가서.
티 저거
네.
What was the other one, please?
The other question was, how does it ground the view of seeing things as
잘사.
Tene changing tawate ya tene tawatele ya tene rangshin kan yin ba te thong ba te tawate resong res ra tene drewe la ya tene ta tham da chitawa ki shi tene taw ka la ra tene kan yin na te ne lo rangshin thong ba te ni no tene ta keba kan yin na sir shi ki tene ta ka ki tene 강인 통 완신 강인 버티 통 수주 대단 드니 레버가 그더니 제가
지 값을라. 되네 라신 칸이 뭐 통스네 라신 칸이 뭐 들라 냠버 샤 쓰요 봐. 레벨 값도 된 건도 줄 쓰요 봐.
At the ground level, with the proper view at the ground level, then attempting to rest in the nature of mind, or nature, of mind as it is, see, which is the practicing to try to rest the mind in the nature of mind and experiencing the nature of mind in terms of fruition is different. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's not the same. I understand the differences.
잘사.
코 제바 민도는 진짜 깨우치고
레스. 시코랑 디 개발 연구 말에 시 원도 줄마 줄레마도 시 따와 세고야 돼. 레뷰게 코랑 레뷰 또주 칸이 버티 시게 여러 봐. 스티다 연구 말 봐.
The
베나 텔 때네 베나 다다다 로주타이 고르티나라 시차게 쳔보 서다나 내루당 출루 니슨도 손으로 봐 내루디 코랑 게트니 베나 레뷰기 내가 칸이 버티 내루디 원도 줄 받은 레뷰스타게 여러 봐 얘나야 내루디 원마신도 출바 연구 여러 봐 텔 때네 출바텔 저어체발라 남지 차게 쳔부터 땡고 여러스
시 chanji 쳔볼 내로도 출로 니잔도스
내루 코랑 시 차게 쳔볼라 내루 지당 출루 니 내루 시도 오늘 금다 만출에 찾으게 여러 봐
when we talk about ground, we're talking about the view, the ground or the view. And the view that we understand or we try to understand, and the intellectual understanding of the view is when we follow the path, we realize the view. The view is fruition. Until the view is realized, is ground or fruition, and ground or view. But when the view is realized, then the view is fruition. So yes, the view and the fruition is same. The difference is whether you have realized the view or not. And also in one of the songs of Jamgön Kontrül Lord Thai, the ground Mahamudra has, and looking at ground Mahamudra, and ground Mahamudra has is the nature, has two aspects to it. Is the ground Mahamudra is the nature of all things. That is, if you are experiencing the ground Mahamudra from the point of view of realization, that in itself is fruition. If you are viewing the ground from the point of view of confusion, then it's ground.
이내 코랑 시 내급수 내루도 출루 니가 베나 양타 마다 니게 차디요 여러 봐
So at the ground level, it is both the nature as well as the confusion about the nature.
안에 텔라 데네 람지 차게 쳔부터
And so, through following the path of Mahamudra, then uncovering of the confusion, then unfolding of the fruition.
야, 다 타마디
Okay. Okay, last question, please.
Yeah, please.
Experience of Dharmakaya. Although I see that it's only a word, how is it different than what I've known as the experience of God? In other words, what I'm trying to grasp is how come this is called the non-theistic Dharma? What I used to call God, you're calling Dharmakaya. Now, I would like my God to remain in some sense. I don't care what color I call it. But how come people say that this is a non-theistic religion? To me, this is the theism, although I understand that it's only a word. The qualities, the properties that you're describing in Buddha nature are very similar to the Hindu description of Brahman, just as is the 14 years of the Vedantic study whereby they finally realize all their obscurations of Buddha. So, I'm not clear how come I'm supposed to think of this as non-theistic.
피 인지민지 틴데 콜 선로단로스 라히메르바
뭐라는 게 세야들 간세보다.
So you tini.
다 단다 라긴 송단 찍도 잘 되는다 가서래 쪼벌이야 쪼버 딱 붙을 때가 틸리아 니 이제 매우치 가서 틸리아 따와 틴데 매우치 직스 세요레스 틴데 다딜라고 하이나 먹고 식도 포스노스 아이스나 매스도 아니 쪼버 대당 틴이 단다 쇼구디니 제발 민도스리 틴데 인자다 오늘 뭐만은 이만은 쪼거 되요 그래 다 단동 티다가시 샤크시 코딩도스 냐서 대신마샤지 티다와 야사지 코딩다스 tenen timen da tanda ti chiroba ti chiaswan ti tawa mangolo jona this che fine tendel tenya ti ti da jo de ba chota tani
다 마시자에 그냥 고단한테 텐데지 거베이나 다티자에 가서 소수 고단 나가네 그래서 대선자 그냥 텐데지 고수 텐데지 좋은 거 이나 그냥 떠지도 않는데 그래서 이나야 안에 네 그냥 라비아 찍대 안에 단단한 간주 대월식 베닝 무슨나요 추주 고스나요 컨데 탐지기 제벌 에센스기요
Yes.
딜 썸단테 캬트 썸단
People have different ways of hearing. And so, if that's how you hear it, then you can examine what you hear. But just one simple point that His Eminence would add here, beyond your examining, there is no imposition in this way or that way, you see. And but one simple point is and you're talking about the Vedanta philosophy and so forth in connection with that. But the point is, when we talk about Buddha nature and the unfolding of Buddha nature, which is inherent in the mind of all, and then in relationship to Buddha nature, having experienced the unfolding of Buddha nature, then we talk about the Dharmakaya. Either we talk in terms of Dharmakaya, or we talk in terms of Buddha nature Still, we don't talk of Buddha nature and the Dharmakaya as the creator of samsara and nirvana. So then in that connection, maybe you can think.